Welcome back to BVarsity
Hey,
Live.
buddy.
I'm Zach Ewing. Whoops, this way.
Let's go this way.
All right. How are you?
Let's shimmy.
That was a good show. I like that so far.
It still has been a great show, and it's going to continue being a great show.
It could go off the rails at any moment, knowing us, but
yeah,
so far it's been a great show. Our thanks to Ryan Crowley of BHS, the Mayor's Trophy winner. Obviously, he's got better things to do with his time, but he decided to spend 15 minutes with us. We appreciate that.
Such a nice kid, too.
Unbelievable. And, it's funny. Ron Stapp, who is one of our copy editors, I hope I'm not overstepping any bounds telling this story, but his son is Ronnie Stapp, who is a terrific junior basketball player for BHS. And I don't know the details of it, but for some reason, Ronnie was having trouble getting to morning practices at BHS because of other commitments his parents had. They couldn't get him a ride, whatever the case was. And Ryan volunteered to pick him up every morning and get him to practice every day. And that's not even asked, just volunteered to do it. And that's just the kind of kid Ryan is. So
that's the kind of kid that I want to be around.
Just another example, absolutely. And that's the kind of kid I hope my kids are. And that men want to be him, women want to. What is that? No,
don't finish.
He's still
don't
too
finish
young for
that.
He's still too young for that. And then also our thanks to Brandon Park and Dave Hillstead of Stockdale Boys Tennis. A terrific conversation with them in advance of the
Noah Pardo will come running after you.
Section championships. Hey, that's a compliment to her. It's the section championships tomorrow and Saturday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. Friday and Saturday up at Mission Oak High School in Tulare. So that's when they get rolling. The track Saturday section championships, we talked about that. And then that leaves baseball and softball. And state swimming also tomorrow and Saturday. And then that leaves baseball and softball. Softball quarterfinals today, baseball tomorrow. Let's start with softball. In Division 1, as we get the slides up here, it is an all-Kern County matchup in the first quarterfinal. Number 8, Liberty, and the top seed, 28-1. 28-1? 28-1 Stockdale Mustangs.
Well, here we have it again. I think this is the fourth matchup between these two this season. Stockdale obviously has taken all of them because they're undefeated against Central Section opponents. So this is that
one
first.
Went to extra innings of these.
It did go to extra innings. So it is one of those. I mean, this will be, especially with Kylie Fahey back. It's always interesting to see how good Liberty can do. But Stockdale is just so tough at the plate in the field, in the circle with Sydney Hornbuckle. So it'll be really interesting to see how this one kind of plays out because Stockdale was, the underdog last year. They had to go on the road to the semifinals at Buchanan. This year they don't have to do that. As long as they win, they stay home today. And then Tuesday in the semifinals. Sorry, my days are off.
I believe that is correct. Tuesday, yeah.
And then Division 3 of no teams left in Division 2, so we move straight to the D3, but it is very Kern County top-heavy. Taft at home against Dinuba. Taft can hit the ball. Freshman Reagan Hamilton, senior Olivia Ortlieb leading the way. Rosalind Mino on the mound, so they'll take on Dinuba in the top half of the bracket. In the bottom half of the bracket, we've got two more locals. Next one up is Tehachapi. They are at home. They will play Reedley. Tehachapi tied for the SYL lead, or championship, I should say, with Independence, who is actually the 2 seed, and they will be at home today, a game you will be at. So the Falcons, they won a share of the first ever league title. Let's go and move over to that next one. They're at home against 7th seed Liberty Madera Ranchos. So
not
the winner
here.
here.
Liberty Madera's got a rich softball history.
Yes, they do. So this is not an
difficult.
easy one. We've seen them before. They played Taft in D4. They're up in D3 now. So the winner here, we could see a fourth matchup between Independence and Tehachapi in the semifinals if the Warriors and the Falcons can both move on in Division 3. Both of those games will be on. Like I said, you will be at this game, so we'll have it on BigSoul.com later tonight and tomorrow's Californian. Moving on to Division 4, Wasco, which shared the SSL title with Taft. They are on the road at Chowchilla. That's as far north as you can go in the central section. But the Tigers with Samantha Martinez in the circle are up to the challenge, I think, and they're in the top half of the bracket. If they can get through this one, most likely they'll see Mission Oak out of Tulare, the 1 seed in the semifinals. They are May 23rd in Division 5. 3 locals in Division 5. First one up, Kern Valley. They're the 8th seed. They're at Coalinga, another long drive for the Bronx. They did win in the first round, 11-10, a close one over Sierra Pacific out of Hanford. So Kern Valley, does have to go on the road today. We'll play the 1 seed. The winner of this one will see the winner of the next game up, Highland. They're on the road. SEYL champs, 5 seed in Division 5. They'll be in Fresno versus McLean today. So the winner, so we could see a Kern County semifinal, or we could not. And then on the other side of the bracket, Rosemont is the 2 seed. They're at home against Crothers in Division 6. Fraser Mountain is the top seed, and they're at home against Parlier. Yeah, so they're at home. And then on the bottom side of the bracket, 2 parochial schools. It is Central Valley Christian out of Visalia at home against Bakersfield Christian. That is a 3-6 matchup. The winner there will see the winner of Granite Hills Orange Cove.
And that is, and there it is, the bottom half of the D6 bracket.
And then baseball tomorrow. These games, and all games are at 4:30, scheduled unless otherwise noted. In the baseball, here's one tomorrow. Let's go ahead and move straight over to the baseball brackets if we can. This one is actually not going to be played at 4:30 on Friday. It'll be played at 6:30.
Under the lights at Buchanan's Bears Diamond. And tough task for Centennial, but man, 18 runs yesterday against Liberty. At least they go up there with the bats swinging well. They're going to need that against Buchanan and all that unbelievable pitching the Bears have.
Well, and the thing is that Buchanan, too, has shown a little bit of vulnerability that we haven't seen out of them last few years.
More so than when they were winning national championships.
Exactly. Yeah. They have
They're
a lost
still
Clovis.
Very, very good.
Yeah, they have a lost Clovis North. They have a lost Clovis West. They have a lost Clovis. So this is not out of the realm of possibility, but it is a very, very tall task for the Golden Hawks after a very successful game against Liberty yesterday.
Yeah, and Liberty kind of to write the epitaph on that season, lost all of its pitching to injuries, and that's what happens when you lose
your
all
center
your pitching.
fielder and your best hitter to an injury too.
You lose 18-4 in the first round, so that's what happened. Bullard scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th yesterday to stun Clovis East. The 10-seed Clovis East had a 3-0 lead going into the bottom of the 7th. Bullard scored 4 times to win it, and now they get to face Stockdale. Stockdale has been eliminated by Bullard 3 consecutive years in the baseball playoffs. So the Mustangs this year looking for just a measure of revenge. They've only lost 1 game in the entire Central Section schedule. That was to Liberty. So they are favored here, and they would love to kind of get some redemption for those last 3 years.
And Stockdale's not pulling any punches. They're putting Sean Mullen on the mound tomorrow. So
you have to.
You have to because you got to figure that if you win this one, you win the semifinals, and you want to have him throwing out at Rawhide in the finals.
Well, and you have this is your only game this week. You're throwing your best out there. If you
and Andre, but Andre Morello is nothing. Alejandro Morello is nothing to sneeze at on the mound. But you got to go with the guy going to UCLA.
And if Stockdale were to win, they would face off likely with Clovis or Tulare Western.
Yep.
That is but Stockdale Clovis would be a terrific semifinal game.
Yep. And much like in softball, no Kern County teams in Division II, so we move straight to D3. Garces, big winners yesterday over West, 13-3. They are the 5 seed up at Kingsburg. The winner of this one will play the winner of Porterville, the top seed, who's playing Fresno Hoover, and then the bottom half of the bracket.
From one Viking to the next, Garces beats West and faces Kingsburg.
Are you going to be covering games tomorrow, or are you on calls?
I am covering games tomorrow.
Okay, so you're going to be at the next one we have up here.
You're going to be at the next one.
You're going to go
Stockdale.
You're going to go to Stockdale tomorrow? Okay, you go to Stockdale. I'll go out to Highland.
Play. I'd like to see
All right,
Stockdale play.
I'll go out to Highland tomorrow. You betcha, and they're going to take on Madera South. So another good one. Another game that we'll be covering against a Madera school. Highland, SEYL champs. The 3C had a bye in the first round. They'll be at home against Madera South. Madera South, which beat Ridgeview yesterday, 7-6 in 8 innings.
There were 6 walk-off victories in the first round of baseball playoffs yesterday.
Yeah.
6 of them, and there's only like 15 games or so. I mean, it was ridiculous. So Madera
here's another
South was
one that
we
would love to be able to get to, but staffing issues. I just don't know if we can get to that. But 2 SSL teams going at it, BCHS and Wasco, top 2 teams in the SSL going at it in the quarterfinals in Division 4. Wasco, first league championship since 1993.
Got a whale of a team.
Jeff Weddle, the head coach, was in high school. So, he's enjoying the fruits of labors as a player and now as a coach. So, the Tigers are the 2 seed, but BCHS playing very well as of late. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Fireball is the 1 seed in there, and they're on the top half of the bracket. They're going to play Chowchilla. So it'll be interesting to see what Wasco and BCHS have in store tomorrow in the quarterfinals in D4 at 4:30. In Division 5, Rosemont Rosamond with a big upset yesterday in 8 innings, 5-3 over Minarets and O'Neill. I mean, that you talk about drives. You got to come down in the valley and then go back up the hill. So, Rosamond made the most of the trip yesterday, and they're going to have to make another long trip tomorrow back up to Madera. I mean, you're logging some miles when you're in the High Desert League. So they're at it in the winter. This one will play the winner of Central Valley Christian, who's a 1 seed, and they're hosting Coalinga. Coalinga beat Chavez on the road in the 8-9 matchup, 7-6 yesterday. Bottom half of the bracket. Arvin, after beating Bishop 9-2, is in the quarterfinals. They are hosting Carruthers in the 3-6 matchup. I apologize. Arvin is on the road. Carruthers is hosting them, so they're going to head over to the home of the Blue Raiders. And then in Division 6, Kern Valley, winners yesterday over Kennedy 17-3 at number 1. Sierra Tollhouse, another long drive for an HDL team.
They'll be used to the altitude up there, though.
Yep,
no problem.
That's an 8-1 matchup there. And then the last local team we have in the playoffs tomorrow, McFarland on the road against Parlier, another local team heading to Parlier. McFarland beat Cal City 5-1 yesterday. So those games are tomorrow.
Those are tomorrow. Then semifinals for softball are Tuesday, and for baseball are Wednesday. That leads up into the championship weekend next Friday and Saturday.
We've got a little nugget on that.
Yeah, the softball games at Bulldog Diamond in Fresno, the baseball games at Rawhide Ballpark in Visalia. And if you are thinking, maybe you're a Stockdale fan, maybe you're a Wasco fan, maybe you're who else?
A Highland fan.
Highland, yep. And you're thinking, what if both my baseball and softball teams make it? Highland is in different divisions.
Highland's in 3 and
so
5,
they might be okay.
But Wasco and
Stockdale's would have both teams in Division 1. Wasco would have both teams in Division 4. And the finals right now are scheduled for the same time. Both of those divisions happen to be on Saturday. But if that happens, the section office has told us, they will flip-flop the softball schedule. They don't want to do baseball because you have pitchers with pitch count limits and things like that. They want to keep the schedule as is in baseball. That's not a concern in softball. So if that were to happen, if Stockdale's and they're probably the most likely team in the entire section, I think, to have this happen. It's seeded that way, that their boys seeded second, their girls seeded first, that they would both make it to the D1 final. They would flip the D1 softball final from Saturday with the D2 softball final, which is scheduled for Friday. So then they would play D1 softball Friday night, so Mustang fans could go up to Fresno Friday, and then D2 softball would be Friday night, while D1 baseball stayed on Saturday night, and Mustang fans could then go to Visalia on Saturday. So I think that's a good move by this section. I
think it's a very good move. Yeah. I mean, they're being flexible with the with the team's availability for that, because you see that a lot of times in basketball where you'll have Bakersfield Christian or a team like that is in the D1 or BHS actually this year, where the girls were in the D2 finals on Friday and then the boys were on the D1 finals on Saturday, so the 2 trips. But this one's a little bit different because you don't want to have to split them up.
But you don't want to
split them up.
It's going to hurt your crowd, and so and I know that the cynics will say they did it because it'll help the gate and everything, and it will, and there's nothing wrong with that. But people
who
get to
cares?
see.
It's about the fans and the kids.
Yeah, they get to see more.
There are baseball players that are friends with softball players, and they're
Yeah, it's a common sense move, but too often the common sense move doesn't get made. So kudos to the section for doing what makes sense. So there could be a switch, and look, Stockton's got work to do starting today in softball, tomorrow in baseball to even get there. But
nothing's a given.
If that does happen, that will be the case. The softball game would be played Friday night, and the baseball will remain Saturday night. Hey, our thanks to Ryan Crowley of BHS, Dave Hillstead and Brandon Park of Stockdale Tennis. They were our guests today here on BVarsity Live. 3 shows left in the school year. We'll be back next week. Lots of baseball and softball talk next week as we have championship finals set. The following week, state track, and then we'll do a wrap-up
Super Show.
The State Track Super Show, that'll be on June the 1st, and then a wrap-up show June the 8th, and we've also got all-star soccer players in here on June the 8th.
Oh, yeah.
Well. So that is our...
Derek Watson's planning on bringing a whole bus.
They'll bring a horde. That will be our final show of the year on June the 8th, final show of the school year. So for our producer, Charmaine Cleveland, our thanks to her, and that's Trevor Horn. I'm Zach Ewing. This has been BVarsity Live.
Bye, guys.
Looking deep down the left side, Mendeville into the end zone, touchdown!